All right, peeps. So the difference of what's going on with Unit 6 is in Units 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we learned that f is just the position of a function. And then f prime was the velocity. And then f double prime was the acceleration. So what we're going to start doing now is we're going to get info about the velocity, and we got to go back. And can we figure out, oh, the new position, or how far something traveled to get to a new position? So for the last 5 units, we've been working forward, and now we're going to start working backwards. Meaning, let me get rid of that up there. So now it says, all right, I gave you a lot of write-up, and I feel like we don't need to worry about it too much. What I want to start with is a truck travels along a highway at a constant velocity of 60 miles per hour. And they do that for 1.75 hours. How far did the truck go? So they gave us the velocity, and if we traveled that same velocity for 1.75 hours, how are we going to figure out how far we went? And I even put it right in there. Are you down with saying, all right, well, if you go 60 miles per hour for 1.75 hours, you're going to get, and I'll do it for you, 105 miles. And you might wonder, what's going on with these units? We said 60 miles per hour times 1.75 hours. Oops, I don't need that. When those cancel out, and I'm just left with my miles. And that goes back to distance equals rate times time. Okay, so what happens though if our velocity is not constant? Right before it was just 60 miles an hour. Oh, and do you agree in order to find this answer of 105, we could actually just, what shape is this?
It's a rectangle.
It's a rectangle. Couldn't we really
area.
just do the area of that rectangle and we got the distance? We just did the area of that rectangle and got the distance traveled. If we said, set this for my velocity and this for my time. So what happens if our velocity varies? The truck slows down approaching an exit ramp. The velocity of the truck is graphed. How far did the truck travel over these 10 seconds?
It's a triangle and a rectangle.
You could totally think about this as a triangle. Let me do that with black. A triangle and a rectangle. Could we also think about it as a trapezoid on its side?
I thought of it as a larger rectangle being subtracted by.
Oh, so you were thinking this
Yeah.
subtracted by this guy?
Yeah.
It works as well. These are great. We got to go find the area of this cute little triangle, rectangle, trapezoid, big rectangle minus triangle, however you want to think about it. However you think about it, let's do it. You might struggle with the units because you can't see it very well. So let me blow up mine. And how could we find the area of this? How many people are like, oh, I would have seen it like Ritzman did, of the triangle and the rectangle? You guys down with that? Should we do it this way? I'm down with that. Does anyone remember how to find the area of a triangle? Base times height divided by 2. What's my base, if you can use mine? 10. So I'm going to do base of 10 seconds. You don't really need the units. I just want you to see how they are going to cancel out. Times my height. My height from 30 to 60 is going to be 30. Very good. And my, that was units, and that was talking about, we're going to say that it was miles per hour. We're going to do seconds and miles, per second. Let's do that. Let's make our lives a little easier. Yeah, this is going to be ridiculous. Our units are going to be silly, but let's just make them miles per second. Just because if we're talking seconds, let's make our lives easier. So we're going to do 30 miles per second. Okay. And then we got to divide that by 2, right? That's the area of a triangle. My seconds cancel out, and we would have gotten 30 times 10 over 2, 150 miles. Plus, 30 times 10 again would get me 300. And again, we did seconds times miles per second to get miles again. So how far did this truck go? Add those up and we get 450 miles, right? So you're like, okay, I know how to find area of rectangles and triangles and things. I agree. But then here's where calculus comes in. It says, what if that velocity is not linear? Wouldn't you agree when you drove to school in your car or someone was driving you, your velocity was not constant the whole time. Your velocity was not decreasing perfectly. When I left my driveway, then I sped up a little bit, then I stopped at a stop sign. So my velocity is variable. And so now using calculus, we can still find the area under these curves, even if this is curvy, which is kind of cool. Okay, we are not going to use curves much today, but so it says the function r models the rate of change of a stell's altitude in feet per second. So again, this is saying her rate of change. This is a velocity graph because they said rate of change. This is her velocity of her altitude changing. And it says, and it is in feet per second. So I'm going to just go label that this side over here is feet per second. And then this is talking about seconds. This is her velocity graph. How much altitude did Estelle gain from 0 to 8 seconds? You guys just, again, because you probably can't see well on your graph, 8 is right here. So maybe we label that with little 8. And again, this is a velocity graph. And what we've just learned is if you find the area under the curve of a velocity graph, it will get you your distance traveled or your position. So again, if we're starting with f prime, we can go to just f now using the area under the curve. We're kind of working our way backwards because they give us a velocity graph. Okay, let's go see how far her altitude changed. What kind of shape do we have there? Yeah. And since we're only talking about from 0 to 8, I'm only going to look at that first triangle. Does that sound good? Area of that triangle, base times height. We had a base of 8 seconds times a height of 40 feet per second. So when I multiply those together, my seconds cancel out and I'm left with 8 times 40? 320. 320 divided by 2 would be 160, right? 160 feet. So again, this is why we can go from a velocity graph backwards because my times are canceling out and we're just left with units. What is our final altitude position at the end of 16 seconds? Just so you guys know, 16 seconds is the end of my graph. So what do you think is going to change if this is a velocity graph? What's she doing down here? She's going back. Yeah, so here, if my velocity is positive, and then we're talking about her altitude, we're going up and down, right? So here she's got positive, she's going up. So maybe she's in a hot air balloon, maybe she's in a plane, maybe she's climbing a building. So her altitude gets higher here as her velocity is positive. Then she goes back down and her velocity is negative, continues to be negative, and then it's 0. So what do you think we should do with this distance traveled if they said, what's our final altitude position? Take it away. Agreed. So I'm going to put this in blue. We need to subtract out this distance traveled to see what our final position is. So the area of that blue triangle would be base times height divided by 2. What's the base going to be? 8. Yeah, to go from 8 to 16 would be 8, again, seconds, times the negative height, which would be, let me look at that. Oh, yeah, it is 20. Thank you. 20 feet per second, and I'm going to make that negative. And just that negative triangle has an area of negative 160. Is that right?
It's negative.
Oh, golly, divided by 2. Negative 80. Negative 80 feet. So what's her final altitude position? If she went up 160 and then she went down 80, what's she left at?
80 feet.
80 feet. So I would just say 160 minus that 80 gets me 80 feet. That's her final altitude position. This one's from AP. This is an AP test question now. Oh, no. Stay together. Oh, no. Okay. So it's from an AP question, and it says, hey, the flow of oil in barrels per hour through a pipeline on July 9th, wow, very specifics, is given by the graph shown above. The flow of oil. You guys, this is talking about a velocity, barrels per hour. Of the following, which is the best approximation of the total number of barrels? Guys, they gave us F prime. They gave us a derivative, and they want to just know how many. They gave us F prime, and they want to know how many, my position, my quantity, my amount. of oil that passed through the pipeline that day. We're just estimating. Look at these answers. They're pretty, they've got a pretty big gap except these two. So we're just estimating. If we're going from F prime and we just want an amount, a position, we can just find that area under the curve. The question is, how are we going to estimate this area under this cute little curve? Different shapes will make sense.
Well, you divide that bottom portion into a rectangle.
You could say, I'm visualizing, let me make this a little fatter here. You're saying I'm visualizing a rectangle there?
Yep.
And then you're saying there's one right triangle and then there's another right triangle? Or were you picturing something different? Or, okay. Anyone else? You feeling good with that? What if I just did one triangle?
Yeah, one triangle would work.
Either way, right? Because, I mean, I think it's about the same amount of work, but we could just find one and then double it. I dig it. All right, let's do it. How would we find the area of this rectangle? What times what? Yeah, length times width, which would get me 24 times 10? What answer is that? That's 2,400, and that's C. Say that again, buddy.
24 times 100.
Oh, golly, 24 times 100. You right.
You have the right answer.
Thank you, buddy. So we got 2,400 is just the rectangle. So I'm going to get rid of 500, 600, and 2,400 because I know it's got to be more than that. Do we have a guess? 3,000 or 4,800 from there?
3,000.
I'd say 3,000 is a pretty good guess. If I had to go find the area of my triangles, I'd say, all right, the area of one triangle is going to be base of 6, height of 100, 6 times 100 divided by 2. So one triangle is going to be 300. And then Ritzy said I had 2 of them. So I'd say plus another 600, that estimates about 3,000. Okie dokie. So what about, oh golly gee.
So you're saying dividing it up in that case is actually worse because there's
More of an overlap apparently. Yeah, that's a good call because this and this must even out. Like this, we didn't jut out as much because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I go straight over here, I've jutted out a lot more and covered a lot more white section. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. Whoa. Okay, this is a hot mess. So we're going to just do this. Okay, this is 2016. Here we go. This is an actual test question. Oh, and there's one word here that's really nasty to us. Particle moves along a straight line for 6 seconds. Notice these graphs are much more easy for you to read. And that its velocity is given. This is velocity. During the time interval from 0 to 6, what is the total distance that little particle traveled? So they gave us F prime and they want to know F, but they gave us total. So what are we going to have to do with this area down
You
here?
gotta add it.
I know which one. Do we want to add it or subtract?
so you add it, or you can just subtract the volume.
But if they want to know the total distance, they don't want to know its final position.
Yeah, its final position. They don't want to know its displacement.
Correct. They want to know how far did it go. So do you agree? It traveled to the right here. It traveled to the left here. If we subtracted it, we would take it away.
Yeah.
But we want to give it credit since they use that one word total. So if I were you guys, I would underline it because this is a nuisance right there. That one word is a game changer. Let's go find the area of the top one. I want to remind you guys how to use the area of a trapezoid because we're going to need it later. Instead of going little square and a triangle, I want to remind you trapezoid because you guys know a triangle is just base times base over 2, right?
Yeah.
Well, with a trapezoid, all you've got to do is instead of base times base, you're going to add those bases. You're going to divide them by 2 and you're going to multiply by the height.
Oh.
So my bad. With a triangle, you knew it was base times height divided by 2. Now it's just bases times height divided by 2. So what would this base here be?
2.
2. So we're going to say 2 plus, what would this base be? 3 divided by, times my height. My height is, good, and divide that by 2. That's going to be my positive.
Wait, what are, oh yeah.
So do you agree the area of this trapezoid up here is 5? Okay. The area of this cute little trapezoid, don't forget, it's just bases times height divided by 2. Bases, what are my 2 bases? 2 and 1, so I'd say 2 plus 1. My height is 1. Divide that by 2. We getting 1.5? Okay. So if this just said, what is its final position, we would subtract them and say, oh, positive 5 minus 1.5, and we would end up with answer B. That one little word, total distance traveled, is saying, oh, I need to take that 5 and I need to add its negative distance because he went 5 units to the right and 1.5 units to the left for a total distance of 6.5 units.